I think it'll be Chelsea.
Let's hear what Wrighty does think about that. He's in Australia at the moment, but he is listening and now has his chance to have a comeback to that.
Don't hit me.
Caicedo going to Chelsea nudges them ahead of Arsenal, who themselves have spent a lot of money on bringing in Declan Rice.
Great. It's going to be a great move for Caicedo. For me, especially alongside Enzo. I think Enzo and Caicedo will be, like Darren just mentioned, the two in front of the defence that will solidify a bit. But in respect of them being the challenge, I have to agree with Tim on who's going to score the goals for them. But I think Chelsea will be in and around it. But I do feel that Arsenal will still be up there without a shadow of a doubt.
What do you make of this huge market now for defensive midfielders?
Well, I think that what is shown when you look at teams and how they're trying to defend, how important it is to have that defensive player in front of the back four there, and when you haven't got it, how much that player is missed. I think that, you look at someone like Caicedo in Brighton's midfield and how brilliant he done and how good their defensive record was. I think the same you probably have to say even with Arsenal. You miss somebody like Thomas Partey. It's like that defensive midfielder does so much for the team in not only breaking things up, but it's the way that they can progress the ball as well. Declan Rice was playing. Look at he's gone. It's just Lavia. It's just a position that if you are playing that kind of football with a defensive midfielder, then he becomes, like Tim says, one of the pivotal players. Speeds it up, slows it down, breaks the game up. How he progresses the ball. It's a very, very important player in the system now. Obviously, the goal scorer, I still believe, will always be, as Darren, I'm sure, will agree, will always be the most important. But like that player now, the number 6, the defensive holding midfielder, has become, as we can see, highly sought after and needed.
Right. I don't necessarily disagree with you about the ability of Arsenal to score goals, because we've seen that they can step up and take responsibility. What I just wonder is, in the same way that I was talking about those partnerships in front of defence, I would have thought that it would have been Rice and Partey in front of that back four as a very stable two, and then maybe Odegaard in front of those, because we know about his ability to thread passes through to the offensive, to the striker or out to the wide areas. Is it not that cut and dried, or do you think that it could be a bit more
fluid?
Fluid.
Yeah.
That's the word. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think that he could do both of those. He could probably do both of those scenarios, because you can either have Rice just in front with Odegaard and who's the other one, and one other. Who can it be? I'm trying to think. So you can have Thomas Partey as the 5, and you can have Odegaard and Rice as like 8s, and you can even have Odegaard as a 10, or you can have the two of them and Odegaard in front of them. I think that works with Partey, Rice and Odegaard in front there. That's how I think that can work. Or even if Partey stays, Declan Rice can go and get involved, like we've seen him do as well in respects of the number 8. So I think that can be really quite fluid in there, but then it will depend on the fitness of Partey.
It's really interesting that you asked that question, because Eddie Howe talked about it after the Newcastle game, about their midfield and how, although there are very clear roles for the players, that it is more interchangeable. They don't have fixed positions in the way that maybe they would have done in previous seasons. But we will talk more about Newcastle a little bit later and their brilliant performance with that 5-1 victory on Saturday. But right, as we said, you're in Australia. You're there for the Women's World Cup. Looks like you're living in a lap of luxury. What else have you been up to?
Yeah, no, it's been great. I've been doing everything. I can't lie. It's great here. They've been treating us really well. I've done everything, Kels. I've been a pilot. I've been a captain of a boat, a chef, an adventurer. Australia is fantastic. I don't know. Nancy doesn't know it yet, but we're going to be moving here at some point. I don't know it, but she'll know now. Food, weather, culture, the people. It's just an unbelievable place to be. And honestly, the World Cup over here has obviously kicked in unbelievably. And it's so exciting at the minute. So exciting.
We're just taking a look at some of the things that you've been up to. Obviously, you've got over your fear of heights.
Yes. This was a really good one. This speedboat was unbelievable. Unfortunately, our camera woman wasn't well because it was moving around to her, so she weren't well. She got sick, which was really good fun to watch. But the heights, Kels, and jumping off the buildings, you know what I mean? Going down to see the Maoris in Otaki, and doing the tour of the Aborigines in Sydney, and it's just an unbelievable place in respects of the amount of things to do, and the weather. It's like winter here, but it's amazing here for the weather.
Yeah,
unbelievable here.
Yeah, the enthusiasm. Go on.
Say it again, Kels.
No, you go on.
No, I was just saying, Kels. It's just everything you'd want is unbelievable. Sydney's amazing. Melbourne is awesome as well. Obviously, going to Auckland and Wellington was great as well because they're kind of similar temperatures to England. Brisbane, it's been fantastic.
Yeah, I know we can, as I was going to say, we can hear the enthusiasm and we can see it from some of your videos as well. Are you feeling as enthusiastic about Arsenal this season? I know we talked a bit about their midfield, but in terms of challenging, do you think they're going to mount a serious challenge again?
Yeah, I do. Because I was speaking to Mikel at the end of last season, and he was adamant that they have to start well. Because even when I saw that City, they beat Burnley as comfortable as they did, and Haaland doing what he did. Haaland's just he's on his way again. He's golden boot, you can see that's going to happen. But I was more worried that we have to win the game. Because I remember speaking to Mikel when I went to the training ground, and I said, nothing's more important than actually just continuing to win at the start of the season. You have to do that. You have to stay with them. Because you look at their team, you look at them starting, and it's going to take so much to stop them as a team. And even when Forest did score, I must admit it was one of those where I was, oh my gosh. I was like, oh no. And I watched it the next day. So, it was one, you know what I mean? And when they done that, the way they scored that goal, it was a little bit of a worry for me. But because it's the start of the season and we started so well and we won the game, I'm sure they'll sort it out. But in the main, it's all about starting well.
Right, what have you made of Kai Havertz so far? And also, where would you play him? Because that's kind of the question that a lot of Arsenal fans are wondering, where's his best position?
Well, again, the thing with him is, Darren, I've seen that we've played him up front and we've played him kind of just back in the midfield. I believe that someone like Kai Havertz is alongside, we mentioned Thomas Partey, and that's the other name I was looking for, in fact, Darren. You've mentioned Thomas Partey can play there, and the two number 8s. You can have Kai Havertz as one if you want, and you can have Declan Rice as one if you want as well. So you could play him a little bit deeper, or you could play him in that kind of a little bit more advanced role. But obviously we don't need him as a number 9. You don't need him as a number 9, but I know that he's somebody that if he can crash the box, I believe that he's going to cause a lot of problems for teams for us.
Righty, it's the Ian Wright derby up next for Arsenal when they're at Crystal Palace, so we'll be looking forward to that one, and you'll be back the following week. So we look forward to seeing you then. Enjoy your travels.
Cheers, Ricey.
Take care.
See you soon, everybody. Bye.
Bye. The only thing that's making me not jealous of him is the fact that it's not that sunny out there. That's about the only thing that's making me do that. But the title race is certainly looking